Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/spookshow. Then go over to morbidlybeautiful.com as we are now part of the Morbidly Beautiful Podcasting Network.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! You'll too! You'll too! You'll too!
Everybody here dies by dawn. Dead by dawn!
Welcome to the Spookshow. Hello! We're doing the live All-American Spook Show experience here. So bear with us. We're doing this. We're actually going to be doing an episode live. So I'm sure this won't be without its issues.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we are the All-American Spook Show podcast, and if you don't know us, this is us. I'm Josh, and over there you see Tiana.
Hey.
And the professor.
What's up?
His name is actually Brian Smoke, but we call him the professor, and as you listen and watch, you'll see why. He is a horror savant. Right? He's just got a lot of years of watching it in his back pocket, really. That's all. And he just remembers things better than we do. So, professor. Yeah. Anyways, so Tiana, this was your choice, right?
Yep.
So what do we watch? What are we talking about? What did we watch?
Halloween 3.
You got to say the whole thing. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Oh, Season of the Witch. Yeah.
Not to be confused with another movie we might be doing later on at some point this season.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think about that until well after the fact. What is that on Grindhouse Gutter this month?
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about Season of the Witch.
Oh, yeah.
the Romero one.
Yeah, whatever year that was, what, 70 something, right? I forget. Early 70s.
I might have said it. Was it 70? Was it that far back? Yeah, because I think I said it one of the episodes, probably the last Grindhouse episode that we did when we teased that movie is that's a Romero one that I haven't seen yet, and that's not too many Romero films that I haven't seen, but that was one of them.
Yeah, same here. I haven't seen it, so that should be interesting. But yeah, I think it's appropriate though before we continue any further that we need to throw this video out there. I forgot to do it off the top, so let's do it now because we need to hear this today.
Oh yeah.
8 days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 8 days to Halloween, silver shamrock. 8 days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 8 days to Halloween, silver shamrock.
Yes, kids, you too can own one of the big Halloween 3. That's right, 3 horrific masks to choose from. They're fun, they're frightening, and they glow in the dark.
Well, there you go. we had to hear that at least once, right? Because we're
at least once. If you've seen the movie, you hear it, plenty of times.
Yeah. Oh God, almost a sickening. At least 2/3 of the way through the movie, you're like, all right, that's enough. All right, we get it.
Yeah.
God Almighty. I guess that was the point, right? To kind of drive you.
Batty. Yep.
Yeah, this is one we've it's probably been mentioned off and on. I think the one thing about this one is it's somewhat divisive, right? I'm not going to say controversial. I don't think it's controversial. Maybe to some people, maybe I don't know, but
at the time it was released, it definitely was controversial, and certainly it's still divisive, if not maybe controversial, because everybody knows about it now. But back then, I remember when it first came out, it pissed people off. I mean, because it's the first one that technically Michael Myers is in it, you might say, but not really. I mean, he's not in it as the killer. There's a couple of scenes where they show, promoting the first Halloween movie as a commercial on TV.
I was about to say, wait a minute. What do you mean he's technically in it? But is it just from the fact they're showing the movie? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could say he makes an appearance of sorts in a promo for Halloween, for the first Halloween movie on a TV commercial.
Yeah.
So no, he's not in it really. And that's what pissed people off, of course, when this first came out.
This came out in specifically October 22nd, 1982. So just before Halloween. So what, you're 4 years after the first movie? Because that was 78, right? Or 79?
4 years after, 78.
So
Yeah.
well, I only asked, because I blanked there, but 4 years after, and then like there's a commercial for the original in the movie where they say something like the immortal classic Halloween.
Yeah,
I'm like,
even though it was
I'm like,
just,
yeah, you
4
can say
years.
that now, but 4 years after,
Yeah.
that's. But I
That's
mean,
funny.
it was
Yeah,
massively
you don't
successful.
catch it. I mean, you do catch it, but you don't really think about it now because you're watching this movie, you know,
Yeah,
40 plus years after, you know, it came out. So I mean, yeah, it is an immortal classic. You don't think about it when you hear that commercial, but back then, yeah, it was 4 years. It was only 4 years after the
you're
first one
right.
came out.
I didn't even think about that. Even this one has been 43 years ago. Yeah, it's 43 years as we speak. So, yeah. This one, though,
Now-
the obvious thing that is divisive, controversial, splits the audience, whatever, is the fact that Michael Myers is not in it, right? Other than, like you said,
Yeah.
the clips of the first movie. That's it. It has otherwise has nothing to do with what Haddonfield, Michael Myers, Dr. Loomis, none of that. None of that matters, right? Just throw it out the window.
And I'll say right out the gate that way back then, you know, and I'm not talking about necessarily 1982, but yeah, because I didn't see the first movie until a little bit later. 1982, I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Halloween yet at 9 years old, but yeah, a couple years after that, I did. And then when I discovered, you know, I saw Halloween 2, and then when Halloween 3 was on the shelves or whatever, and I'd heard that Michael Myers wasn't in it, to be honest with you, I didn't want anything to do with it either at first. So it took me a few years before I saw, you know, Halloween 3, knowing about it, knowing it didn't have Michael Myers. And so that was my initial reaction to it before seeing it. So you'll see how it's changed over the years.
You know, like my history going back to this is, I'm pretty sure the first time I watched this movie was when it was on like public television, you know, like edited for TV, afternoon matinee kind of thing. And it was way, you know, like this is like late 80s, early 90s, somewhere around there. And I remember watching it thinking like, shouldn't there be a dude that's wearing a mask running around? You know, like that's what I remember. But then I just kind of moved on and just enjoyed it for what it was, you know, back then. And honestly, in the years since, I'm not going to say I've seen this one more than, say the first two Halloween movies, but I've probably seen this one more than the rest of the Halloween movies myself. More than 4 or 5 beyond.
Oh yeah, I definitely would agree with that. Like I was saying, and we'll see, you know, how my perception of this movie has changed over the years from that first initial reaction without having seen it, you know, and it didn't have Michael Myers, and I knew that, so I just kind of didn't bother with it. And I mean, when I saw it, it might have been closer to the mid to late 80s myself when I saw it. You know, I know I was still in high school, and after watching it the first time, it probably was on edited for TV as well when I saw it, where it was, you know, the gore was taken out, and it's got a significant amount of gore in it for its time. I probably, you know, that first initial reaction to it was like, yeah, it's okay, but it doesn't have Michael Myers in it. Now, you know, knowing that, and then also my negative reaction to that fact before watching it probably colored my first viewing of it. So it took another viewing later on down the road. This is after high school, after I got out in the Navy. I'm talking about probably mid 90s even, when I saw it a second time and really appreciated it. And now since then, I've probably seen it more times than any other movie, like you said, except for the first two.
Yeah. Tiana, what about you? Where like, had you seen the originals first before this, or what's the order of things that you recall?
Yeah, I've probably seen the first and the second one a good amount before, or at least a few times before seeing this one. I can't remember the first time I seen this one or how old I was or whatever, but I might have not, liked it as much as the first or second one at that time, but later on, oh yeah, I really love this one, and this is one that I usually try to put on every year.
It would be interesting, like you kind of alluded to there, Smoke. I wonder how many people like actively avoided this thing.
Yeah, no, back then there was a lot, because like I said, the people that I knew that were into horror movies, which was my cousin who was a year older than me, and like his best friend, same age as he was, a year older. And, and some of their also friends that were fans of horror movies had avoided it. So I kind of fell in that, because they were huge fans, and I was a huge fan of the first Halloween and everything, and the second Halloween for that matter. But yeah, knowing that it didn't have Michael Myers in it just automatically made me be negative towards not even wanting to see it, like I said, for a few years before it even came out. So I definitely colored a lot of people's opinions, I think. And even the ones that did see it, even further down the road, I want to say that some people involved with the movie said that maybe it should have been called something. Maybe it should have just went with Season of the Witch rather than calling it Halloween 3, because
Yeah.
you don't have that connotation of Michael Myers like you have when you hear Halloween 3. You would think, if you had not having seen it, you'd think, of course, that Michael Myers is going to be in it.
Now,
I remember hearing them say they wished maybe that it had been called Season of the Witch.
Now, to step back a little bit, the intent here, from what I read, was this was to be the first of anthology.
Yeah.
Correct? Like they wanted to take, instead of the Halloween franchise being about Michael Myers, they wanted it to be like, well, every movie would be a different story. Yeah,
I believe that was John Carpenter's kind of wanting it to go that direction. And his involvement with this movie, I know he did the soundtrack, and maybe he had a writer's credit because he created the Halloween series, and I don't remember if he had a producer credit on it or not.
Yeah, he did. Him and Deborah Hill were both producers on this.
So I think it was them that wanted to take it that route. And but I wouldn't mind seeing a branching off of that. Yeah, I like Michael Myers, and like I said, I wish they would take it in a direction where, okay, we're going to split this off from the Halloween franchise, so to speak, and have it be its own thing. Because I would have loved to see an anthology, ongoing series of this type of thing.
My thinking has always been kind of like what you were saying. Like maybe you could just call this Season of the Witch or whatever. But now that I really stop and think about it, they were clearly trying to cash in on the Halloween name. They had that. So I think where they messed up is putting the number 3 in there.
Yeah.
You could have just. If they just called this Halloween Season of the Witch or Halloween whatever, right? Like,
yeah, they could have it. They didn't. It's funny how I don't know when that started happening, but sequels a lot of times these days don't even bother putting a number in there. Some of them don't. But back then it was almost unheard of, I think, to have a sequel without having the number, 2, 3, 4, whatever. But now it's it wouldn't matter. You just put
that probably really took off with the Rocky movies, and then Friday the 13th, I guess, horror wise.
Yeah.
There's probably some others I'm blanking on, but I think that's where they're like, everything's got to be Rocky 2, Rocky 3,
Yeah.
Part 2, Part 3, Part 4.
Yeah, I want to say one of the Friday the 13th movies, was it Part 4? That they didn't technically necessarily call Part 4 back then. It was like Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Yeah.
So really there was one, and that was 1984.
Mm-hmm. Because it was supposed to be the end. Yep. But then again, I think we talked about that with Friday the 13th. I think they had a number of false endings. All right, this is it. And
about every movie was a
but like I think definitely after that second or third one, they're like, all right, this is it. We promise this is it. And then then it just kept going and going.
Yeah, when that box office hits, you're like, okay, maybe we can squeeze another one out here.
But I think if they'd have just left the number 3 out of this, it would have, you wouldn't have that hate, that vitriol, or whatever that. What? This is bullcrap. Michael Myers isn't in it. Like you would have just accepted it for what it was. I think because it took a long time. I would imagine it took years for people to say, all right, we know he's not in it. It is what it is. Now let's look at it in in its own light. Let's look at it like that instead of through the other glasses or lenses, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely do now. But like I said, that initial stage, no, I didn't. Even after that first viewing, I didn't. I'm like, oh. Okay. But now, definitely view it in a different light, and it has become one of my favorites of the franchise.
Yeah. I mean, like we don't want to get too far into like what our final thoughts and ratings and all that, but I mean, I enjoy it for what it is, and I think if for whatever reason you're watching or listening to this and you haven't watched it, go check it out. Obviously, I think we're going to recommend it enough. We'll give you our final thoughts on it, but before we do that, go check it out if you haven't seen it. Also, this is our first time doing the show here live on YouTube. We are a spoiler-filled podcast. We want to remind you right now that we're about to get into Spoilerville. So if you have not seen it, go watch it. I was going to say pause it, but you can't pause a live show, right? Just maybe hang around and plug your ears up. How about that? Don't click off of it. Just do earmuffs.
Spoiler alert, Michael Myers is not in it.
Yeah. Well, we've already screwed that pooch. So. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one. That being said, take all the Michael Myers stuff to the side. Just judge it for what it is. It is an odd movie because, to me, it has a slow pace.
Yeah, it does. It does take time to develop certain aspects of the story, let's say.
Yeah, and then before it goes a little bit more off the rails,
Yeah.
toward that third act. But man, I'll tell you, like, I watched this late last night and I was kind of tired. I was starting to go to sleep a couple times. I just forgot how slow the pacing could be in this movie. You know, some like you kind of go in between where there's nothing really happening, just them kind of snooping around, trying to figure out what's going on at this factory and this relationship between the two main characters and everything. I'm just like, ugh. All right. I mean, I'm not necessarily going to nail the movie for that, you know, like in my final rating, but it was a little slow, you know. So, and it's not a gory movie, right? It's not. I mean, there's some gore in it.
Well,
there are moments.
There's some, a little bit here and there.
I wouldn't call it a gory movie, though. You know,
No.
there's moments of gore, right? This one
probably gorier than say the later ones. Once you get into and that's for a reason. You know, once they brought it back for part 4 and 5 and all that, that was right in the midst of the crackdown on slasher and splatter movies. So, so there's a reason why this one's probably a little bit gorier than even part 4 or 5.
Yeah, I mean, because it's 1982, but it doesn't really feel quite that old to me. You know, if you were just watching it and didn't really pay attention to when it was made and everything.
No. The cinematography is really bright, and I mean, it has that Halloween feel to it. You know, the bright oranges and blues and primary colors and whatnot.
I found 2 other titles for this. There's just, you know, the full title is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. So the other title is Halloween 3, which I would assume most people, you know, if they're talking about this, is probably what they're going to say. And
I like the tagline to it, the night no one comes home.
Yeah. Yeah, because the first one was the night he came home, right?
Yeah.
And then another title that I found was The Last Halloween. Apparently it was released as that in the Philippines.
Now I don't know what year they released in the Philippines. Did they have some sort of prophetic vision there? Because it almost was.
Yeah.
This one probably almost killed it as far as like, you know, until all the way in whatever year that was. I just said that part 4. I don't remember what year now the part 4 came out, but late 80s, 88 maybe. I want to say. Yeah,
I got the Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers. That was in October of 1988, so it took them 6 years.
Which is quite a bit as far as the 80s when we were talking about sequels to horror movies.
Yeah. Well, that just tells you not necessarily how bad this one did, just I guess that sour taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Yeah.
You know, because it didn't do horribly. I mean, it had didn't do great either, but it had a $4.6 million budget, and it went on to a gross of $14.4 million.
Yeah.
So
at least it didn't. You know, it wasn't like it was a complete box office bomb or flop or anything.
Yeah. It just, I guess that Michael Myers thing was just a hill that was too tough to climb. You know, and it took it a long time to kind of become a cult favorite.
Yeah.
You know, because of that. So, as we like to do here on the Spook Show, though, when I have it, I've got the top 10 in the box office. So this was released October 22nd of 1982. So I've actually got the top 13 in the box office. So let's go with that. Number 13 that weekend, Night Shift, that comedy movie.
Oh yeah.
Number 12 in the box office, Annie. God, this thing had been playing for 23 weeks. Speaking of sequels, number 11, Rocky 3 was in its 22nd week. So that had been playing for a while too.
Oh, Thunderlips.
Yeah. That's the one with Hulk Hogan and all that.
Yep.
Mr. T on it.
Eye of the Tiger, etc.
All right, finally we got the top 10. Number 10, Jekyll and Hyde Together Again. It seems like I've never seen that, but I've seen that title before.
Yeah, I've seen the title. I don't think I've seen it either.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably not good, but hey, you never know. We'll probably get to it in some form or another here on the Spook Show eventually. Number 9 in its first week, The Cinder. Number 8 in its 11th week, Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Nice.
Wait a minute, and it's 11th. Pink Floyd's The Wall, but was it a re-release? I guess.
Possibly. I don't recall when that was originally released. It says 11th week, at least of 1982. Okay. So I don't remember its initial release or whether that was it or not. Number 7 in its first week, Jinxed. Number 6, My Favorite Year. Number 5, this little indie movie called E.T. the Extraterrestrial. It was in its 20th week and was still top 5 in the box office. Raking in.
Yeah, I would definitely remember that. I think I myself saw it in the theater twice. Probably once the first time and the second in the re-releases.
You might have contributed this particular weekend. Who knows?
And I remember that whole home video fiasco back then of it taking forever to get the home video for whatever reason.
Dude, I remember that.
Yeah.
Because that was way later. That was what, 3-4 years later? Sometime.
Yeah, if not longer. See, I mean, well, back then, time seemed moved a lot slower. Maybe it was 3 or 4
Maybe,
years.
but dude, I'm telling you, it was because I don't remember. I mean, look, I was born in 1980, so I don't remember jack about 1982. But I remember when that thing came out on VHS, so it had to have been 3 or 4 years later. It had to have been 87, 88.
I would say at least 3 or 4 years. I'd say if not more. But like I said, time just felt like it was longer, but maybe it was only 3 or 4 years.
It was. I mean, but even back then, that's a long time.
Yeah. I don't remember. It's probably licensing. I don't know. I could assume they knew that whoever's going to have the rights to that was going to have a shit ton of money.
I do believe that one got re-released a time or two in theaters too, so that they probably just wanted to keep squeezing that juice, until they could wring all of it out. I guess. Number 4, An Officer and a Gentleman. Number 3 in its opening week, Monsignor. You got me.
I hadn't seen that one.
And number 2 in its opening weekend, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It made $6.3 million in its opening weekend, and it only took in 14. So yeah, clearly that was the big weekend.
Yeah,
probably made a little bit the following weekend because of Halloween, and then probably mostly out the door after Halloween. But number 1, Smoke, you'll love this. Just barely, actually, 6.3 to 6.6 million, barely beat out Halloween 3. The opening weekend of First Blood.
Nice.
Yeah. So at least it was a good one, right? That beat it out.
Yeah.
At least it was one I'm not going to argue it.
Doing these things is always interesting, seeing, because I mean, just seeing and this one maybe there's been others that like every single movie that you mentioned opening that weekend was like just a classic now,
Yeah.
I mean, some of these you mentioned like Monsignor, I don't even remember, and the Dr. Jekyll one or whatever it was.
Yeah. There's
some of them are kind of forgotten and gone to the wayside, but most of them are still, as you mentioned, are still way up and well regarded.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like I said, if you're just joining us for the first time, that's something we like to do when we have it. Kind of throw out the top 10 in the box office just to see what it was playing up against at the time. This movie was produced by Dino De Laurentiis Corporation and Deborah Hill Productions, and it was distributed by Universal Pictures. I believe I saw somewhere where this was actually, once again, because this one didn't do well, this was the last Halloween movie that Universal put out until, I believe, those newest ones. When it came back in 2018, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember who put out the other ones, but they didn't touch it. They didn't touch
4, 5, and then 6 or whatever.
Yeah. I want to say it was Miramax or
it could have been
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Universal didn't want to touch it anymore after this one. It's of course rated R, total runtime of 1 hour and 38 minutes. On IMDb, it's listed as a horror, mystery, sci-fi, thriller. I think those are all appropriate for this one.
Mm-hmm.
No random adventure in there or something like that, right?
No.
It was filmed in and around Lolita, Sierra Madre, and Los Angeles, California. So it's Lolita's way away from Sierra Madre and Los Angeles. That's like Northern California, and I think that's where the parts where the factory.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, what do they call the town? San
Madrid, not San Madrid, but
San Mira. Santa
Mira.
That sounds right. Yeah, that town. All the scenes of that were basically shot in Lolita, California, and then pretty much everything else in the Los Angeles area, Sierra Madre, from April 19th through May 22nd of 1982. So it's a pretty quick turnaround. Just a little bit of editing time, and then bam, comes out in October. So. Yeah, I mean, really, that's about all the background stuff that I had. I mean, obviously, it was directed. I shouldn't say obviously, but it was directed and written by Tommy Lee Wallace. So this was not, even though Deborah Hill and John Carpenter were producers on this, and I'm sure they had some kind of hand in the
input. Yeah,
some finger in the pie. It was a Tommy Lee Wallace show because he wrote it and directed it. Now, he went on to be known for what, probably other than this, Fright Night Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
The first It?
Yeah, he did the Tim Curry one, right?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah. So went on to some pretty awesome stuff too. And it stars Tom Atkins as Dr. Dan Chalice. Now, what I'm blanking on some other Tom Atkins highlights. What are we?
Oh, Night of the Creeps is a good one.
yeah. How have we not done that one?
yeah, we got to get to that at some point because that also is the same director as Monster Squad, one of our favorites here.
Oh God.
And one that Donnie,
I was about to say, don't
be on the live, but one that he was mad that because I think he came on the next episode permanently. He came on the show right after that, or two shortly after we had done Monster
No,
Squad.
I think it was literally like the week after.
The week
we did the Monster Squad. Yeah.
Like, terrible.
I was about to say it's still a sore spot. Anytime it comes up, he gets pissed.
But Fred Decker, that's who we're talking about, the director of Monster Squad, Night of the Creeps.
Yeah, I mean, God, he did a ton of stuff. I mean, remember, just here on the show, he was in Creep Show, right? Just a movie that we did.
Yeah.
He was in The Fog, The Ninth Configuration, Lethal Weapon. He was in Lethal Weapon, the original.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. He's a nice guy. We met him at a convention. It was like 3 people from Halloween 3, I believe, at least. It was Tom Atkins, the director, Tommy Lee Wallace, and who's the
girl?
The one that plays the, spoiler alert, well, should we say it yet? Or
you mean the girl in this movie? His main love interest?
Yeah, his love interest.
Yeah, don't give that quite away just yet. But,
okay.
That was Stacey Nelkin.
Yeah.
As Ellie Grimbridge. Well, I mean, I didn't see much else. She was. I mean, I'm sure there was some other stuff, but like,
very much stuff.
Yeah. Apparently, she was supposed. I'm just briefly looking at this. Apparently, she was supposed to be in Blade Runner, but didn't do it. Yeah, I mean, she was in a CBS Western miniseries, The Chisholms, in 1979.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing much else though. I mean, it looks like a lot of TV stuff and stuff, stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Oh, we got some comments. Let's see what we got here from Justin Fleming. It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the horror-thon, followed by the big giveaway. Don't miss it, and don't forget to wear your mask. Yeah, we won't. Maybe we should. Justin, you're giving away some shit, man. Like, don't do that.
What is this tag on the back of my mask?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll tell you this. It might be a misfire if you mess around with it. So.
Oh.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they have at some point. Did they sell like full-on replicas of those masks?
Yeah, Trick or Treat did. I don't know about before that, maybe, but definitely Trick or Treat Studios in these later years. In the 80s, I don't recall there being maybe somebody did, but I definitely don't recall that back then.
I mean, because what is this movie without those masks? That's the first thing you think, or at least I think of when I think about Tom Atkins, and I think about those masks.
Yep.
And then
they're very stylized. They're typical of Halloween. A pumpkin, a skeleton, and a witch. Very typical of Halloween, but very stylized to this movie. Like this mask I was just holding up is, of course, not not from that, but just the traditional.
That's an old school mask. Yeah.
But they took the best iconic sort of Halloween images and then just made them even more iconic. I mean, you definitely see these and they're from Halloween 3 and not just any random. Skeleton, pumpkin, and witch mask. That's
that kind of mask, that one you were just holding up, that like when you see early pictures of Halloween.
Yeah,
when trick or treating first was invented.
Yeah.
There's a kid standing there with a mask like that on,
Yeah.
Some creepy crap with like a sheet and that. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, they did have, not to go off in the rabbit hole or anything or get off on a tangent, but yeah, they did have some real, you go Google vintage Halloween. And you'll come across some, if you haven't done that before, you'll come across some really cool, interesting, innovative, and creepy looking, costumes, homemade costumes and whatnot.
Oh yeah, yes, stuff that's just like you said, it's creepy. Maybe just because it's old. I don't know. That when you see a picture that's 80 to 100 years old, you just get the creeps for some reason. I don't know why. But.
No, plus, I mean, they were trying to, these days, Halloween kind of got a little bit more homogenized over the years, right? To be from creepiness to more, what would you call it? More sort of zany, kooky, fun kind of stuff,
Yeah.
So you see those old ones. It probably is like you're saying, just the atmosphere of those old photos being kind of creepy. But I think they were going for creepy back then.
Well, therein lies one of the really main plot points of this movie, right? Really, to me, you spend a big portion of this movie kind of like why with the mask? Why would?
Yeah.
Then when you get his explanation, it's basically, well, because you've screwed up Halloween.
Yeah.
And we got to return it back to its old roots, right? It's kind of what he's doing, right? In a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a way, at least as far as its old roots in a horror movie plot, because because the story he gives about Samhain and everything is not technically accurate to the time.
Yeah.
As far as like the hills running red with the blood of children and animals. I mean, I'm sure there was some animal sacrifice. Maybe there was even human sacrifice, but it wasn't a conveyor belt of sacrifices to the gods.
Head roll. No, but that's his justification, because like I said, you spend a big portion of this movie like, what's the point? Like, why would you want to just kill kids? Like, what's these masks? Why? And it's like, oh, okay, all right. Well, I mean, not that he completely justifies it, obviously, but you can see where they're coming from with it eventually. I always thought there was a little bit of a, definitely sci-fi, but like an alien feel to this, right?
Yeah. And you definitely get the sci-fi vibes because of we haven't really mentioned this part. Maybe I'll wait until we get to that part in the plot, but certain aspects of very much sci-fi will show up here once we get to that part in the plot.
Well, I mean, the plot itself is pretty simple. I mean, it's just a man at the beginning of the movie is an older man. He's kind of like ran down, hunted and killed, or I'm sorry, not killed outright. He is injured, ends up in the hospital, and that's where you meet Tom Atkins' character because he's a doctor in the hospital. And the man dies. Well, he dies in an interesting way. He is murdered in the hospital by some dude that comes in. I assume it's one of the guys that was chasing him, right? That's, what you put together eventually. Yeah. And then he just latches onto the dude's head and just gouges his eyes out, right? And just
pushes his fingers through there and then kind of like pushes them together and kind of pulls the bridge of his nose up.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty graphic,
that was pretty bad. Yeah. I forgot about that little, like he just kind of leans in, like pushes his thumbs in and then pulls. So I guess that's the death blow, right? I don't know, but
yeah.
So that's how you're like, okay, whatever this is serious. So there's
something going on under the
that guy's daughter.
It's intermission time. Time to pause and refresh at the snack bar. During this short break, you can treat your taste of good food and sparkling cold beverages, including delicious Coca-Cola. If you're hot dog hungry, we have them. Sizzling, juicy hot dogs served in warm, oven-fresh buns. Plus a complete menu of all your favorites. Visit the Refreshment Center now. Enjoy delicious food and ice-cold Coca-Cola.
That guy's daughter, which is Ellie in the movie, right? She hooks up with Tom Atkins' character, and they like, we're going to go investigate why someone would come in here and do this to my dad, like what happened to him and why. So that's really a big portion of the movie right there, is like, it's almost like a detective whodunit kind of thing, where they're,
that's right. How they get to the town. I think it was Santa Mira, right? We said where the factory is located that they travel out to.
Now I got to find it because it's going to book Santa Mira. Santa Mira.
That's what I thought. I didn't want to keep saying it wrong, but that's what I thought it was.
Santa Mira, California.
Yeah.
Which is not a real place, by the way. We should mention that it's not a real place.
It's kind of like, what was the Lost Boys? Santa Clara, Santa Cruz? No, or something, whatever it was sounded similar to the real place they shot it at, but the made up name.
I think it was a mix of, I think it was like a mix of two towns, like California towns or something. So it sounds real, but it's not. Yeah. Same thing with that, right? Santa Mira. You could totally believe there's a town called Santa Mira, California, but there's not. So they go there and like, it's a company town, so to speak. Like, it's like they have this factory called the Silver Shamrock Factory. Wasn't that the name of it? Silver Shamrock Company?
Yeah, Silver Shamrock Company. Or whatever. Silver Shamrock. I can't remember the company factory or whatever.
I think, whatever. They make these Halloween masks, the ones that we were talking about, the three that I don't think you see it in this picture. No, you just, whatever the hell that demon. What is that anyways? By the way, what's that? I mean, if you think about it, that really has nothing to do with the movie, right? Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I know. It kind of looks like a deformed version of the witch mask, somewhat, or maybe it was a prototype that they were going to use and didn't. But yeah, that is the original poster art that's on there, and also a scene in the movie where it shows these kids walk at various points, walking along the big cities. I think it was right before Halloween, wasn't it? With showing them wearing these masks as they're like the city's in the background and it's like dusk or whatever. Or
yeah,
it's cool looking shots in the movie, which kind of like it was where the cover of that poster still came from. Or what? I don't know about that particular mask right there, but the kids walking on the poster is from that scene.
Let me see if I got. Yeah, here I found this other picture here. This will work. That's the mask right there.
Yeah.
And then they're walking around a number of times, like all throughout the movie, really. Like they keep cutting. I did like that one montage scene where they're showing all the different cities.
Yeah.
Like, and it's all these kids. So you can see how serious this is. Like they're all wearing these masks.
Yeah, that's that scene I was talking about where it's kind of like they took the still for the poster from one of those scenes.
Yeah. I think it's similar to that, but like on the bottom part. Like, you see those three kids like kind of walking like at dusk or something.
Yeah, you don't really see it on this widescreen part, but on the full
on that, poster, But those are the masks that we're talking about right there. The witch, the skull head, and then the pumpkin head there. The reason we haven't got to the point of why this is dangerous. The reason these masks are dangerous is there's this this company is nefarious. It's evil. And all these masks have these little silver shamrock tags on the back of them. And they've got it. They've been doing this like ad campaign blitz. Like, all right, kids, everybody gather around I think it's on Halloween night, right? Like on Halloween night after your trick or treat, come watch at 9:00 on this night, and get up on the TV and watch this presentation or whatever they're selling, and make sure to wear your mask. So when you wear the mask, little do they know it's going to fry their brains. Actually, I don't know. It goes beyond that. What the hell happens?
Yeah, no, it's like it melts them sort of. Then after they've melted, these worms and snakes, certain things come out of their. I guess that's supposed to be the occult Samhain reference, maybe. Of why, I don't know why. I mean, why that would be the case, or how you would create this tag with. What is it? Some sort of computer circuitry in it? Yeah,
it looks basically like a little metal.
And worms come out of it.
It's like it's a little metal tag. It's just got a circuit board on the back of it, and then when they watch this commercial, it just turns their heads into, like you said, a bunch of spiders and crickets and snakes and
Yeah, they didn't really necessarily explain that much. So much. It's just a cool, creepy visual, I guess.
Oh yeah,
they didn't really.
It's effectively nasty and everything, but it's like it's kind of weird when you think about it. It's like, what the hell is it doing? Like, it doesn't blow their heads up or anything. It just kind of Because even remember in the one scene where the woman in the hotel has the tag and she's like, she puts on her glasses. Like, what is this? And tinkers around with it with like something metal or whatever. It just a laser beam just shoots her in the mouth. And then she holds her face and then she pulls it back and like her eyes are red and her mouth is all blown out so you can see her. And then a spider just comes out of her mouth.
Yeah.
So what is this? Like an insect ray? Like, I don't. It's a weird contraption. A weird evil contraption. But that's essentially that's the easiest way you can explain it, because like otherwise it doesn't really make much sense.
Yeah. I guess it was just that occult thing that they did with the Samhain is the only thing I could. I mean, there's still it wouldn't make sense theoretically of how that would happen, but I mean in the sense of the occult or whatever. Even though you don't really get that, there's a weird sci-fi fantasy occult thing going on here because once you get to the sci-fi aspect of as we're about to come up on that, what these things are, then it goes into a scientific. So it's kind of scientific that way, right? It's the sci-fi element, but then you get the occult with the snakes and the thing, so this sci-fi, the science ain't going to science that way, as far as their heads melting. That you might be able to believe that there would be some sort of thing in there that will make their heads explode or melt or whatever. But I mean, the snakes and the spiders and the things coming out of it.
Well, you remember the one that I just described where the woman, gets her face messed up and everything, she dies. It's a laser beam.
Yeah.
Right. So you would think like, well, that would be enough.
Yeah.
Like You got this tag on the back of your head with a mask. That's it. Like, it didn't have to turn you into a pile of bugs,
right? If but they went one step further with the tinkering with that device on the mask, I guess. Right?
Yeah,
a step they really didn't need to. Could have just. It might have been years of development. They could have just like left that behind. With laser.
I always kind of figured. I guess it just doesn't stop there. Like, because remember a little bit later on, you see a full test, a full example of what this is. So, and they make Tom Atkins' character sit there and watch. Like, they bring they bring in the mom and the dad and the son sits there and watches it, and then it happens, right? Well, then snakes and a bunch of crickets and stuff, but the snakes attack the parents.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess that's where it doesn't stop. Like, yeah, it kills this kid, but now,
you got to deal with these poisonous snakes.
Yeah. Now the parents locked in the room, they have to deal with it. I don't know. It's weird, but it's still effective and gross.
Yeah.
I remember that was the shocker the first time I ever watched it. It was like, what did it do?
Yeah.
What did it do? Oh my God. I do remember the woman too, where she takes her head, like she takes her hands back and then like her mouth is blown open. And you're like, oh man. And I'm like watching this when I'm like 10 years old. Like, never want to wear a Halloween mask again.
Yeah, it doesn't do too. These companies are like, hey, wait a minute, this cut in on our merchandising here.
Whoever the leading mask maker was when this came out, they're like, ah.
There was some reason there was a dip in skeleton, pumpkin, and witch mask the following Halloween.
That's why every mask in the years after that became like Transformers mask, He-Man, GoBots, all that crap. Because we have to go away from the traditional here and stay more mainstream because John Carpenter done freaked out a whole generation of kids here. Or I should say Tommy Lee Wallace. But yeah, like, so they get to the factory and they realize, oh crap, this is not good. And there's a little bit of back and forth, like they kidnap the girl and all that stuff. But the whole time during the entirety of the movie, there's these, they're almost like FBI agents or something. They're clearly like hired goons who are just, plain faced. They're just like, they soullessly attacking automatons or something. I don't know how to describe them. They don't talk or anything like that. They just attack. Well, eventually you figure out it's because they're robots. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. I'm going back to, like, I remember the first time I ever watched this is something I'm thinking it's aliens.
Yeah. Because, the whole, just the way they look and act and everything, they're not, that you figure they're probably not human. If they are, they're Men in Black kind of humans, not the Men in Black movie because that hadn't come out yet, of course. But I mean, just, that concept of Men in Black doing with aliens is older than the movie Men in Black.
So, so there's just a bunch of robots running around doing this dude's bidding. So I'm guessing for the most part, he's the only, like the one that I'm talking about, who's the main guy, blanking on his name, Connell Cochran.
Yes, yeah.
It's played by the actor Dan O'Herlihy. Connell Cochran, he's the main bad guy here. And like, he is the toy maker, so to speak, right? He's the guy that owns the company, the Silver Shamrock Company, and makes these masks and everything for now. But I guess that where the season of the witch part comes in is that the occult, like you said, there's the witchcraft, something with him and witchcraft, correct? And Stonehenge.
Yeah, they show Stonehenge on there. And then he has a monologue part in there a little bit where he's talking about it where he connects the Samhain with where that thing I mentioned earlier about where the hills ran red with blood, because of sacrifices of animals and children and on Samhain and all that. So that's where you get the sort of any background you get from the movie and why they're doing it. That's where you pretty much get it. And that's
So yeah, I mean, like, I guess that's that's the connection to the season of the witch part. It's just that. So moving on now,
which there's a connection with Halloween too. Just that's it. That's the mention of Samhain, because I think that was written on the chalkboard in the school when Dr. Loomis goes in and they're searching the school that Michael Myers went to, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Samhain was written. No, I mean that's just because it's linked to the season. That's the Celtic.
Or as a lot of people read, or as a lot of people read it, Sam Hain, right? Like if you just look at the
if you're
word,
reading it, and don't pronounce it the Gallic way or whatever, it would look like Sam Hain. Which is funny thing there, not to go down another rabbit hole, but the band, Danzig's second band after the Misfits.
Yeah.
I always pronounce it Sam Hain.
Yeah. Yeah.
The band. But when I'm talking about the Celtic Day, whatever, then I say Samhain.
How do they pronounce it? Have you ever heard them say it?
I've heard him say it both ways. I mean, I've heard Glenn Dad in a song. Again, we're going down a little bit of rabbit hole, but it's still linked to Halloween, so bear with me.
Yeah.
In the Danzig song, there's a lyric about Summer's End and talking about, and he mentions it's spelled out Sam Hain, but he says Samhain in those lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard him talking about the band, probably because most people maybe didn't know how to pronounce it back then, so they would just say Sam Hain when I saw him, and talking about it later or whatever. But I mean, he knew how to pronounce it correctly, but he just knew that would be a confusing word probably to say. Then people are asking, how do you spell that? Samhain, Sowin? What is it?
Yeah.
No, Sam Hain. So I think they would just pronounce it Sam Hain most of the time to avoid confusion.
Well, believe me, most of my life I said Sam Hain.
I did early on until I read about the holiday and all that stuff.
I don't know when the switch flipped to that's Samhain. I know that now, but for many years, I would see that band, whatever. Sam Hain.
Yeah, back then I always pronounced it that way. That's probably why I still pronounce it that way now. But that's the one difference I draw with that word is the band is Sam Hain to me, and the holiday.
It seems like there was something going back to when I was a kid watching the Real Ghostbusters cartoon. There was something to do with that, right?
It could very well be because there's some cool stuff in that. So again, we're going off.
I know,
but still related to Halloween somewhat. Yeah. They had some cool references in that show. Like I even remember a episode that dealt with Cthulhu from Lovecraft universe.
Yeah, so they really started
Necronomicon and all that.
Digging deeper into occult lore type stuff,
Yeah,
which makes perfect sense knowing Dan Aykroyd's all about that stuff, and that's kind of at its core as Ghostbusters, right? Is that stuff? But
yeah.
Anyways, back to Halloween 3. So robots, that's what we're dealing with here. Except for him. He's the one guy just sitting around inventing all these robots to do his evil Cochrane.
Yep. Yeah, just to his minions or robots. So I guess because he couldn't trust humans. Or something.
So I guess really the way this whole thing ends is that they don't really stop it. Is that your read on the situation?
No. I mean,
they kept going.
Yeah.
I think when
because a different channel, right?
They threw those chips down, it might have killed or
those androids or whatever,
and
wiped them out.
But it's kept the
the commercial going. It was on different channels. Like he stopped it on one channel, right? Or he got him to put up or whatever.
Yeah. He stopped. I think he stopped it on 2 channels, but then the third channel,
maybe. But
yeah.
But the thing is, they get you to believe or not believe, or you see, is that it's not just. I mean, it's other channels, multiple channels, it's multiple outlets, probably radio stations, maybe. Yeah. Because earlier he was listening to the radio when they were in the hotel room.
Yeah.
And that commercial came on before Halloween, but the commercial for the Silver Shamrocks came on the radio, and he turned it off. Right
now, in his situation, you just do what you can. You're trying to stop what you can. So I get it, right? Yeah. But he ain't stopping shit because this is coast to coast. It's already been. Right, I mean, it's already been pointed out in the earlier in the movie with that montage. There's kids out, in Maine. Well, I don't know, wherever the different places were, all over the country wearing these masks. So, what are you going to do? Calling the local TV station? What are they going to do?
Yeah, well, us working in TV before. I mean, I don't work it anymore, but I know you currently still do. But you understand that there's national and there's local.
Yeah.
But for this type of thing, even though they don't really go into detail about talking about that so much, they kind of, you get the gist that
it's not.
This would be a local commercial ran on local stations because it would tell you where in your community to go to get these masks. What toy store or whatever was selling them.
Yeah, this wouldn't be like, say, NBC, in 1982. This wouldn't be NBC, ABC, CBS. This would be like WFUK, right? Whatever your local station is.
Your local station
running
it'll be your local set of commercials.
All across the country. So even if he could stop those 2 or 3 stations in the Santa Mira, California area, you're not stopping the rest, right? And that's kind of
that's like a needle in a hay. I mean, a drop in a bucket.
That's the better analogy. Yeah,
or a grain of sand in a desert.
Putting a Band-Aid on a dam, whatever other clever analogy you
want to use.
Because that's kind of the way it ends. Is like he's on the phone and. You didn't stop it. No, take the mask off. No, and then.
Yeah, so that's gonna, not to give away anything yet, or it's gonna make Tiana's job harder.
True.
Yeah, once we get to the kill count on this,
count,
well, what is
I
it
got
really?
it.
She's got one, but in all honesty, how many thousands? Unfortunately, how many thousands of kids and adults, if those things turned into spiders and snakes and other poisonous critters, got killed?
One other thing we should mention before we get into that: the death of Connell Cochran. So, like, he throws all those chips down, and then turns the commercial on, so the chips just start firing left and right, and it kills all the robot helpers, I guess, right? I shouldn't say kill, it destroys all the robot helpers. But then it creates like this little circular thing of
vortex thing.
Yeah, like, and then the other thing up on the pedestal, whatever that was, and then
that's the rock.
The piece of Stonehenge, piece of Stonehenge, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, like, lasers come out of that, and he's standing in the middle of it, and he gets like Pink Floyd to death, like. I love that though when it cuts to him like close up, and it's clearly just like a fake mannequin looking thing. It's horrible.
Yeah.
He's just kind of smiling like, and then he just disappears. So I guess
I think he was the evil himself, and he disappeared and went to
the force of Samhain, the force, the actual living spirit, or force of the holiday of Halloween of Samhain or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe Satan himself. I don't know. Whatever he's supposed to be. It's good an answer as anything else in this, because like they didn't really attempt to try to explain it. It's just kind of like you just kind of see it happen and then it ends,
But before even the ending, that surprise scene.
You're talking about
where
with her?
Dan, yeah.
Yeah. So all those robots that got killed, or androids, whatever you want to call them, with the chips falling on them, and there was one that didn't get taken out that we find out later, anyways.
Yeah. So, what was her name? Ellie.
Yeah.
Ellie, the girlfriend. So when Tom Atkins' character leaves with her, they're going down the road like, crap, we got to do something, right? Like, because they're listening on the radio or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he looks over at her or something like that. She just grabs him, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a whole fight there. But so obviously so I guess at some point that means they killed her. And this is this is her robot version, or they just turned her into a robot. It's one or the other, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, one or the other.
But she was a hard kill.
Yeah. He basically, he's fighting with her hand to hand, and then he knocks her head off, or and their android. That's when you see, you already know, but you see all her parts in her neck, stomp away all the little android robotic parts and whatever, right? And then what did he?
Well, remember her arm came off on the door.
The arm too, because
the arm is still connected to the door when she's without her arm. Then he lops her head off, so she's got no head, got no arm.
Yeah.
Then I think he fights her again and pulls the other arm off or something. Yeah. Gets back in the car, and then the arm attacks him. So it's some like Evil Dead crap going on here for a minute there. He went Sam Raimi,
which is interesting. That's the same year that the first Evil Dead did come out.
Yeah, there you go. Chicken or the egg? Which came first?
My theory, I do think she was a robot the whole time. I think she was sent there to make sure, because she meets him in the bar.
Yeah.
But she wants to make sure that he doesn't know nothing. And he kept his mouth shut at first, but then he ended up opening it. So.
Yeah, you might be right. It was a little convenient how, it all happened that led him there.
Yeah, right after. Yeah, the guy died.
And they don't really take the time, or need to really take the time to explain whether he even had a daughter or not.
Yeah, they don't.
Or if this is just a robot, like you said, a robot from the beginning that just said, "Oh, I'm his daughter," and I want to get to the bottom of it.
True.
Because you got to think, whenever somebody found something out, like the nurse or the lady that went through, the car stuff.
Yeah.
And she ends up figuring out there's no bones,
robotic parts in there
no
too. There's
parts,
these little
nothing. And she
by the way,
and boom, there's another android.
By the way, that church at that what am I saying? That nurse at that local hospital had nothing better to do for days on end.
Yeah, right.
Than to just search through these car parts and
then they kind of they drag it on a little bit, so that because she was looking through the wrong stuff, right? They gave her the wrong stuff at first. She analyzed the wrong actions or something.
I just drag it on.
bought them some more time to like
Yeah.
develop the story more.
I will say Cochran was running a pretty tight ship as far as like hiding what he was doing, though.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Until he got, like I said, he got Pink Floyded to death.
And it's like they make it a point to say that it's an Irish town. Not that you would connect these people. Maybe some people wouldn't connect all this stuff together. Just the fact that Gaelic and Irish and Celtic, all these things, like this whole town has been that way since the beginning, I guess. Or for him, he however long he's been in this town, it was it was founded by the Irish or whatever. So there's that connection too with Gaelic and Samhain and everything.
Yeah, and Stonehenge.
And Stonehenge.
I like the robots or whatever they are. They're just chipping away at the piece of Stonehenge. I don't even think they really know why. They're just taking off pieces of Stonehenge. Well, there you go. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Tiana, you brought it to us, so we'll let you go first. What are your final thoughts on what's your star rating on this one? Now, I would say we could compare this to other Halloween movies, but it's kind of unfair because it's so different from the other Halloween movies. So.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I can understand somebody like seeing Halloween, especially in the movie theater. You're going to see Halloween 1, and then you go and see Halloween 2, and you're like, man, this is good stuff. I can't wait till Mike Myers is back. And then you see this, and you're like, what the hell? Now,
here's another thing before we continue. Spoiler alert for Halloween 2. Spoiler alert. What happened at the end of Halloween 2? Because now I'm blanking.
There was the hospital scene.
Yeah. I just don't remember what happened to Michael.
He burns up. They burn him up with the gas.
Yeah.
So after he gets his eyes gouged or whatever too.
Yeah. So really, my question is: was there even a possibility of him coming back? You know what I mean?
Like there is any possibility, I guess, of any slasher that gets killed coming back.
That one.
But it wasn't as open ended as the first one. Is what I'm trying to remember. Because the first one was like,
he definitely gets up and leaves after I shot him 6 times.
Yeah. And then
and he's gone. Yeah.
And then he's gone. So like that's open ended.
Yeah.
I just didn't remember. Okay. So anyways, my point is, like you said, you go into the theater in 1982, you'd be like, well, hell, you left that cliffhanger. What the hell? But no, there was. I don't think there was really a massive cliffhanger. But go ahead.
Yeah.
But I can understand that. And there's still people that are like, But there's such a cult following on this, and I'm definitely one of them, and I love it. And I hope more people like it, and I'm going to give it a 4.
Fair enough. Smoke, what do you say?
Yeah, well, like I said, okay, if I had to judge this movie back when I first saw it, it would get really low marks, right? Because like I said, I had already negatively built up this thing about it not having Michael Myers in it, and then when I finally did see it, I had it in my head, I'm not gonna like it, so then I didn't really like it because I had all that negative hype, if you will, around it. So then, when I revisited it later on in the 90s or whatever, and then I've seen it I don't know how many times since then, it's definitely grown on me. It really just took that second viewing for it to grow on me a little bit more, and then by the time I saw it a third time, I already loved it. So and now it's part of the Halloween season for us, just about every Halloween. The soundtrack, we didn't really talk. We did mention though that it was still John Carpenter, and I mean it's an excellent. If you like synth soundtracks, I mean it's excellent. Chariot of Pumpkins, that's probably the top song off this. That's the one that you kind of hear played throughout in various places or whatever. That's the one. The track that's probably most known off of this one. So that's excellent. The gore, it's got a decent amount. It's not like a bloodbath, but it's got a decent amount of gore for that time. So yeah, I love it now. So I would probably echo Tiana's rating with a 4.
This one, man, it's tough. I mean, I really do enjoy it. I really do, and it's a fun flick. And like I said before, I've seen this one probably more than at least the first. Definitely the first one. I've seen that one 1,000 times, like most people. And I've seen the second one quite a bit. Just couldn't quite remember how it wrapped up at the end. It's probably going to surprise you a little bit, but I'm going to go a little bit lower. I'm going to say 3, but I love this movie. I only say that it brought it down a little bit to me just because it does drag a little bit more than I remember. Because it's been a while since I sat down and watched it from beginning to end, and boy, there's some slow parts in this movie. It doesn't completely negate it for me. It's just kind of like, all right, let's, But I get what they were trying to do. They're trying to ratchet up that suspense, the
Yeah, the reveals that come along.
So when
the android reveal, the mask reveal, and all these things.
Yeah, the Willy Wonka-esque feel of the factory and everything, you know what I mean? So I get what they're trying to do. It's just a little slower, especially like I think once you've seen it enough times like I have, you're like, all right, let's get to the key points here. You know, I don't need to see them making love and you know.
Although that was pretty funny.
That
was hilarious.
Tom Atkins being a ladies' man.
Well, there's that scene whenever the woman gets her head lasered, and then they cut back to them and having sex or whatever, and then she's
like, "What's that?" And he goes, "Who cares?
Who cares?" It sounded almost like a laser going through a woman's mouth. Don't worry about it. And he's just such an obvious alcoholic drunk in this thing too.
Oh yeah, that whole scene too. The scene where he goes to buy the bottle of alcohol and he's coming back, and then the local hobo guy accosts him. He's like, "That bottle's looking mighty heavy there." You know?
I don't have no disease.
I don't got no disease. There's no argument. He's like, "Yep, here you go."
Yeah.
All right.
I guess because he knew he could pump him for information, right? So he get him a little bit,
whatever. Take a swig.
A little bit sloshed, and he gets some information out of him.
And then,
when he wants to. Well, when he wants to stay in the hotel, or she's like, "Should I get he said, "Should I get another room?" She's like, "Well, I don't know if I'd worry about it." You know, teehee, that kind of thing. Yeah. But he said something in there about like, we can stay another night. I'm pretty thirsty. Talking about drinking, it's like, dude, like, take it easy, man. Getting pretty thirsty. Hardcore alcoholic, but he's great in this movie. Though. I mean, like, I mean, sure, anybody. Well, I ain't gonna say anybody, but a lot of guys could have done that role, but like he almost like he fits it perfectly and not perfectly at the same time. It's weird. It's like, you couldn't see this movie without him, but you could also see better actors doing it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a weird thing. But 3 stars.
Did you notice who his ex was? His ex-wife?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm blanking on her name, but I did notice that. Yeah. I guess that probably would have been part of that anthology thing of it, right? Like, maybe that would have been like, let's bring back some people that were in the first movie, but
connective tissue that isn't really related.
But it's storyline. Yes, it's not them, but it's them. You know, so like if you're paying attention, you notice it. But
Return of the Living Dead 2. Remember that one? It was a totally different story, but it still had Tom Matthews and who's the other guy that was the warehouse, his boss in the warehouse. That guy, can't remember his name right now, but they came back for part 2, but they got killed in part 1. They're just playing totally different characters.
Well, there's another connective tissue. The voice of the announcer on the, remember in the town where like it's 8:00, it's curfew. Whatever. That's Jamie Lee Curtis. That's Jamie Lee Curtis doing.
That's right. I do remember reading about that. Yeah.
So there's that. I'm betting you that's that anthology thing. Like, well, it's connected but not connected kind of thing. If you're paying attention, great. If not, who cares? Move on. Yeah. I 3 stars. It's a great movie. I can't quite go 4. I can't quite do it, but it's a great standalone thing. I think, like I said at the beginning, if they just took the number 3 out.
Yeah.
If it was just called Halloween Season of the Witch, because I think you need the Halloween thing to help sell it.
Yeah.
So I got no beef with that, but I think that would have helped because it got this thing in people's heads. Michael's not in this movie. Sucks. You need to see it. See it. Don't judge it for that.
Yeah, like I said, it definitely worked on me. It took me a little while before I opened up to watching it. And then, like I said, when I did open up to watching it, I'm like, it doesn't have Michael Myers, just like I thought. It sucks.
It took them
4 years to watch it again.
It took them 40 years later until they finally did something even close to this with Halloween Ends. Remember? Where there was
something close.
Well, I'm just talking about.
Yeah, they were trying to
make it kind of like this, where it's kind of like an outlier.
Yeah.
Like it's not. I know Halloween Ends is not exactly like this.
Yeah.
But there are some similarities.
Yeah.
So
there was even was it part 6, the Curse of Michael Myers, where they tried to go down the supernatural path a little bit more too, because he had that thorn rune, the Thursaw's rune on his wrist or whatever that was linked to an occult thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it would really make sense. In the movie, it was
and it would really make sense if they ever really if you think about it, other than I guess Freddy in a lot of ways, none of them really leaned into it probably as much as they should have. Because
supernatural angle, you mean?
Yeah, because in the Jason movies, the Michael Myers movies, you know, any of these, I guess other than like the Terrifier movies where I don't know what the hell's going on there. There's something going on, but they haven't really fully explained it yet.
The fourth one's supposed to tell all, so we'll see.
Well, we'll see. I was hoping that the third one would do some of that, but it did not.
Nope, that was just a fill-in.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could say that about certain like from Friday the 13th. You could say from part 6 on, there's a supernatural element in there because Jason's dead. He gets killed.
That's what I mean.
He does get killed in part 4,
and that's what I mean. It is a natural. It would be a natural thing to do because let's face it, this ain't normal, right? None of these situations, like these dudes, are not killers.
Now I think about demons. The only slasher that I can really think that actually like pretty much tells it all in the one film is Candyman.
Yeah,
it tells it all. Well, but then they even went on to do more sequels. But
yeah, but you could
you know his story.
Yeah, if it was standalone,
you got a few classic slashers that wrap up with one movie like Madman. You know, they kind of
The Legend of Madman Mars. Is that?
Yeah. Although was that the one that was based on Cropsey?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
And up in like New York and whatnot.
I was thinking of Hatchet, right? Like which we're going to be getting to here towards the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of like lays it out there, right? Like in a way, like well, we'll get to that when we get to that. But I mean, not a full origin, but just that.
Yeah,
this ain't just a dude, right? You know that.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen that, so I've been looking forward to it when we do that too. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there we go. Tiana, kill count. What kind of number did you come up with?
Yeah, this was fun. Because I was sitting there counting as I was watching, and I was like, wait a minute, well, how about the android deaths and the human deaths?
Yeah.
But I got it all separated.
Okay.
There's 10 human deaths, which is a pretty good count, and then 18 of the androids.
So we'll just stick with 10, but yeah, I mean, if you start racking those in.
Like I said, then an untold number of off-screen deaths that could have or probably happened from the commercial.
See, that's where the kill count can get a little nutty watching horror movie when you're watching horror movies, because how many movies have we watched? Like, well, yeah, there was 5 on screen, but then like 1 million people died when a nuclear bomb dropped. You know, like
or the one I can think of right off the top of my head is I think it was Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, the club scene, right? Because you get these deaths, and all of a sudden there's a club scene where a bunch of people die, but you really don't know how many people are in that club. You just kind of
100 people in that club, and then blood runs out from under the door.
Yeah.
So okay, well they all died, but you don't know that. You know.
Yeah, we don't know it for sure, but we figure it did. And I don't remember, did they say there was that they gave the number of people that were in the club at some point?
Maybe,
I guess later.
Maybe in it, because remember that one there was like a news reporter or something, so there might have been something. Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, they made it easy for the kill count doing that. You know, when that was how many people was in the club. Okay, then approximately that many people probably died, if not all of them.
And then you get the confusing movies like April Fool's Day.
Yeah,
that's my official opinion of April Fool's Day.
Yeah, I was never a fan of that. Tiana likes it. I don't know if you were like, it took you a while to warm to it or not, or you liked it when you first saw it.
Yeah, I liked it when I first saw it.
I've never warmed to it.
Yeah, I liked it too until the end.
I think I fell in love with the characters and who they are, and I think that's why. I know that it's like a whole, April Fool's joke, but
yeah, exactly.
That's kind of become, doesn't really matter these days, but back then that was like a faux pas thing you just didn't do. You hated it because you remember. Like my parents watched Dallas, that whole season, whatever season it was, who was it that died? Was it Bobby that died? You thought he died, but then because the actor wanted to come back, I guess, or whatever, then they decided they wrote in that whole season before it was a dream.
Yeah. Yeah. 80s shows, 70s, 80s shows were notorious for that kind of crap.
Yeah.
Where like the actors would want more money, so they'd step out and they'd replace them. And then it was, remember the Dukes of Hazzard?
Yeah.
The cousins showed up, and then all of a sudden, Bo and Luke come back and are like, "Hey, thanks for taking care of the car for us. See you later."
Yeah, because they were told to have been like they're off doing the racing circuit.
Yeah. Some bullshit.
They're racing in NASCAR.
Anyway, that's a whole thing there. Kill count. So, highlight kill. Let's talk about the kill reel.
Highlight kill.
There's a couple pretty
good ones, right?
Couple pretty good ones here. I think I'm going to go with the woman taking the misfire to the mouth.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, really, if you think about it, that's the one that they make you stare at the longest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they let you linger on that one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because it's pretty
Even the
bad.
aftermath.
Yeah, it's pretty bad to watch a kid get his head melted with snakes or whatever happened to him. But that's all happening under the mask.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This one's like, oh, God. You know, you see her mouth like blown open and her red eyes and everything. I mean, it's, yeah, I think I'm going to go with that one. So that leads us to the gore score.
Gore score.
Yeah, we got you got that. You had a beheading with some blood spraying out the neck stump.
Oh yeah.
That was the bomb I was talking about earlier, wasn't it? Blake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty graphic for that for a mainstream R-rated, horror movie at the time. And some other various random ones. There's a lot of robot android, stuff, but I mean that's just not real blood. That's whatever fluids are inside them, right?
Yeah.
When he punches in the one in the stomach and he kind of pulls his hand out and it's got like the wires.
Yeah, it's just yellow
goo or whatever.
Yeah, oil goo. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not really gore. I don't think that really figures in a gore score. There's robots or whatever, but I mean, it's got enough of the other human, gore in it to at least I think render it a. I'll go with a. I'll go with a 6.
Yeah. Now you should explain exactly what the gore score is. 0 to 10.
And let's take a look at this. This might be in here. So the gore score is based on Chaz Balin, and he was a horror columnist who was passed on, unfortunately.
But he wrote for Fangoria, and he had his own thing, right? Deep Red.
Deep Red. This is Deep Red Horror Handbook, but he had a fanzine called Deep Red.
Yeah.
That won a number of issues or whatever. And he was a columnist for, like you said, Fangoria, Gore Zone, and other magazines as well.
And he always gave his gore score was like guess just like you do, right? 0 through 10.
Yeah, his was
10
based
being,
on
10 being the nastiest. Now we've actually added on to that in the years since. We have a 10X. So if we watch something like, say, for instance, Terrifier 3 or Christmas Cruelty, right? Like something above and beyond.
Yeah.
Then Smoke will give it a 10X.
Yep. And it's that's mainly based on if it's got more extreme, right? Not like you said, the fun kind of gore. Like you could get like Evil Dead and get a 10, right? But that's for the most part is fun. It's splat stick, you might call it, or whatever. It's a good time, right?
Yeah.
There's other movies that you don't necessarily have what you would consider a good time with. And that's like Cannibal Holocaust or Cannibal Ferox or something like that, or Maniac, even where it goes, it crosses many lines. Well, for the cannibal films, it crosses over into some more extreme stuff with animals, or whatever. But just your normal human latex appliance gore, both of those movies, hell, Cannibal Holocaust, to get Rodrigo Deodato had to go to court over some of the scenes in that movie to prove that they were fake,
So that's the scale we're messing with.
It goes above and beyond. That's the 10X one.
Yeah, the 0 is like Bambi, and then and then 10X is Terrifier.
And also, as we said, Chaz Balin is the namesake for the gore score, and I didn't check this beforehand, but I went and looked in Deep Red Horror Handbook just to see what he gave Halloween 3, and he gave it a 5, so I'm pretty close.
So you gave it a 6. So
I gave it a 6.
Yeah, we'll go with that. It's a good number. Solid place.
But it's, it's kind of it could be, some people's 6 might be somebody else's 5 or vice versa, or whatever. It's very subjective when you're talking about, the gore score here. I mean, some things aren't subjective. Like the Terrifier movies, right? There's gonna be 10 and 10X, and maybe I think I gave a 10X to that, right?
Yep. Yeah, Terrifier 3 for sure. Yeah. I think Terrifier 2. I think you kind of retroactively gave that a.
You're retroactive, yeah. I think that was before 10X. When we decided we needed to have them, a 10. Something.
Yeah, you watch those movies and you watch Christmas Cruelty, and you're like, yeah, we need to have something else here.
Yeah, we need to have the X for extreme there.
Yeah,
so
this is not normal.
Crosses the lines into like disturbing, right?
So there you go. That's Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. I think it's enough to let you know that we all enjoyed it and you should go check it out. 2 4s and a 3 gives us a 3.6 out of 5 stars. So that means we recommend you go check it out. So go watch it, all that jazz. Now, the podcast itself, All American Spookshow Podcast, comes out every Monday at 6 p.m. East. As we are recording or doing this live show, tomorrow's episode is actually going to be an interesting one. It's our first ever silent film.
That's true. We've talked about them before, but we haven't had a full episode dedicated to a silent movie.
So, Smoke, you picked it. So, what movie are we going to be talking about?
It's going to be The Headless Horseman, also I think titled The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which was what the original Washington Irving story was called, from 1922.
So there you go.
Starring Will Rogers.
And I'm pretty sure. Not pretty sure. I'm absolutely sure. You can stick around here on YouTube and go watch that. Just go look it up. Just type in The Headless Horseman 1922 and you'll find it.
Yeah, there's a couple of them out there. You'll just have to kind of dig around till you find. There's some of lower quality. You know, I mean, we're talking about 1922. So I know the one that we watched was, I believe, an hour and 16 minutes.
I think that's the runtime. It's 115, 116, something.
I mean, I saw some that was an hour and 10 minutes, and I didn't click on it, but it looked like it had lower resolution quality in the thumbnail or whatever. So
maybe they
also, we should mention this. It is on, what was it, MGM?
MGM Plus and Amazon, I guess.
Yep.
If you want to watch it completely silent, in other words, no piano track, music, or anything, just dead silence and title cards.
I tried. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, we did too. We didn't know that was how it was going to be. So we started watching it there. And quickly, after a couple minutes, moved over.
I will say, I'm not sure if the movie's in public domain, but it is 103 years old. So
I would assume that would make it be the public domain.
I would think, but who knows, right? Who knows?
But at any rate, the one on YouTube at least has a piano track, so it's not dead silent.
It's not as distracting. God Almighty. Well, there you go. Go check that. Go check out The Headless Horseman. That episode will be coming out tomorrow, Monday, October 6th at 6 p.m. East on our, right here on the channel, obviously, but also wherever you get your podcast. Stick around here on the channel. Go check out all of our other series like Grindhouse Gutter, Video Vortex, Hammer Horror and Order. Lots of stuff archived here. And please go become a patron of the Spook Show by going to patreon.com/AA Spook Show. Tons of archived content over there of stuff we've done in the past. You get the episodes early and all that jazz. Helps us out. You get lots of cool bonus stuff. And go check out aaspookshow.com. So for Donnie and Will, who weren't here, Tiana, Professor Smoke, I'm Josh. We are the All-American Spook Show, and we will talk to you very soon. I guess we'll do another live one probably in the next couple of weeks. So we'll talk to you then.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.